By the way, a lot of orange in the picture today. I like it.
A lot of orange in the picture because there's a lot of orange in the picture right now. So, and it's been a while for that, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It has been a while.
No kidding. So if you're Utah's coaching staff,
yeah,
they got Florida at 100% of what they had to offer.
That's right.
A week later, Kentucky put them away in a really good performance. And then South Florida, for God's sakes, almost beat them. The Utah coaching staff has got to be saying, what did we do to deserve this?
Well, they also had a shot at them. They just didn't execute. Florida easily right now, easily could be 0-3. Hey, thank God that Florida game happened with Utah for Billy Napier. They'd really be on him down there. I got a number for you guys. You guys were just talking about interesting stats. The year is 1955, okay? This is before rock and roll, before the first rock and roll record. That's the last time Florida in the same football season lost to Kentucky and Tennessee in the same year. They're going to be thanking their lucky stars, I think, come Saturday night, George, for that Utah win. That staff will, because, these fan is short for fanatic, and those people in Gainesville are not going to understand that they're playing with a less than a full deck. And from looking at it the other night, they're playing with way less than a full deck, guys. Let's just call it like it is. For those poor people in Gainesville. I say poor people. I use that term loosely because they've done their fair share of winning down through the years. And Steve Spurrier sure took no mercy on folks when they were short-stacked, nor did Urban Meyer. That team is short-stacked, and they're going to pay the piper before it's over this year. And it might happen Saturday in Neyland Stadium. There's a real chance Tennessee pulls the top off of that game. I really believe that.
Oh, wow. Watson, take over. Let's see where y'all are headed.
Tony, I would venture to say that in at least the last 25 years, this is by far the best opportunity for Tennessee to dominate Florida in the last 25 years. And it might even be further back than that. I think that would be about right. During Phillips' time with Spurrier and all of that, it'd go back and forth, but Florida won that more than it didn't.
Right.
This game, to me, is the best shot Tennessee's had in all of those 25 years.
And, these chances don't grow on trees. I think you're right. I've been around here doing it close to 30, which is nuts, right? You'd think that somebody like me would find something else to do. But I'll tell you guys, this thing is really this week. Like, my message has been, I think Tennessee needs to own what they are, which is a touchdown and a half favorite that should blow this team out. They really should blow this team out. I visited with a couple different people who their living is to cover the Florida team. Both of them believe this Richardson guy is hurt. That's why they haven't run him. George, you talked about it. He was running like a madman in the Utah game. Kentucky hit him early. They hit him early in that football game. And that's why once they built the lead, he wasn't running in that game. And he did not run at all last week. And some would say, well, that was part of the game plan. They wanted to protect. They almost lost the game. If South Florida does not fumble a snap and doesn't just mis-execute, for lack of a better way of putting it, that's a loss. There's no way a coaching staff's going to walk off a cliff like that. No way. That team had rushed for over 300 yards. South Florida, guys. South Florida rushed for over 300 yards. And the truth is, Florida is going to be without their quarterback on their defense. Their middle linebacker is going to miss this game, who's a wonderful player. But at the end of the day, nobody has mercy on you at this level. They're gonna plug in two true freshmen that they're gonna rotate there, and that's just not a recipe for success for a Tennessee team that's gonna force them to execute in space. And behind the scenes, Cedric Tillman, Tennessee's leading receiver from last year, probably is not going to play in this game. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how much it's going to matter. And to those not familiar with me, let me just tell you this. I'm not a homer type. When it's an ace, I call an ace. When it's a spade, I call a spade. And I try to call it down the middle. I try to call balls and strikes on matters such as these. This thing really has a one-sided game written all over it, because truly Tennessee has the wherewithal to score and Florida does not. And in this modern game, when those two teams get on the field, teams that are like that, hey, Jeremy Pruitt, supposed to be some defensive guru, okay? When he walked onto the field in games like this, he got popped, because when you can't score, you can't score. And this Florida team, I mean, they just can't score.
Tony, I agree 100%. Tennessee has to blow this game, in my opinion, not to win it. And the way you better not blow it is pace. The pace of this game is going to really matter. And if you're going well, pace the fool out of them. But if you hit those spurts, think about your defense a little, because this team cannot outscore Tennessee unless there are mistakes made. And one of those mistakes might be a really tired Tennessee defense. So they absolutely don't need that to happen. And just take care of the ball. If you take care of the ball, Florida can't outscore you. And if I'm the Tennessee defense, Tony, I load that box. There's no way in my mind that I'm sitting there saying, this kid ain't going to carry the ball. He's carrying it Saturday. He got hurt against Kentucky a little bit. They weren't going to give him the ball. They thought they could win without it. They did. They got what they wanted out of it, Tony. He's carrying it Saturday now. I'm telling you, they better load that box and not let him do it and knock the fool out of him. And then when it comes past time, back off and defend and give him coverages, and don't play a lot of man now, because if he gets loose in the pocket in man coverage, he's going to run long distances. So if Tennessee does everything, in my opinion, the way they should, they win by about 20. But if they mess around and they don't do some of the things we're talking about here now, Florida will be in the game. Do not ever count Florida out. I'm telling you, just like I'd say the same about Tennessee if they were in this spot. These two teams hate one another, and they're going to flat leave it on the line Saturday. Florida ain't coming up here waving a white flag. Ain't going to happen.
Hey, listen, I got a couple of great emails from people today that I'm going to feature tomorrow in my blog over at tclub.team. And as I told you guys, I update the blog every day, and I'm always looking for content, which is sort of amusing to me and amusing to others. And one guy said, "You're day drinking again." And I was, and that was the message head. I'm clicking on that. When somebody asks me if I'm day drinking, since I don't drink at all, and most people would be glad that I don't. I'll tell you this. He says, your team has lost 16 of 17 to them. And you're talking about blowing them out. But Watson, you and I both know, and George knows. I mean, we all know this. These games, we can talk about coaches all we want. These games come down to playmakers on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Who has them? Who doesn't have them? Yep. Who has the edge at quarterback? Who has the edge in the perimeter in the modern game? Who has the edge at the perimeter? Who has the playmakers out there? The answer, Tennessee. Florida's got a nice offensive line, and that matters. That matters because you can control a ball, but only if you can move the sticks. Because I'm with you, Watson. I think if you do the things you're saying you do, which is to say, don't let the kid run around. Yes. Don't give him any confidence. Keep the box flooded. For God's sakes, don't play man. And I'll tell you this, Tennessee's linebackers are bad in space, and their safeties take bad angles. So there's a bunch of reasons not to do the things that you're saying don't do. Obviously, those people are well paid. They obviously watch video. They're obviously going to come to the conclusions that that we've come to. And if they come out in those and try to be cute Saturday, shame on them. If they come out and that happens, shame on them. They're going to get run over, and shame on them, because they're going to make this thing harder than it has to be.
No, and all Tennessee has to do, in my opinion, is play good.
Yeah.
They have to play a good game, because if both sides play well, Florida cannot outscore Tennessee.
Right.
The bottom line is, if both played really well, I mean, top of their game,
yeah,
Tennessee is going to outscore Florida. I don't care if it's 35-31, 28-24,
right,
whatever it is. Florida does not have the capability. If Tennessee plays good, Tony, they got to play good now.
Yeah.
If they play good, Florida can't outscore them because they cannot pass the ball well enough.
Okay,
They can run it well enough, but they can. This kid is not the same passer Hooker is, and if you don't give him stuff with his legs, I don't think he can beat you with his arm.
Let me ask both of you this, though. They were good enough when they reached the top of their A game to beat a pretty good Utah.
I'm telling you.
What if they replicate that Saturday? Then what?
But you know what, George? Utah did not punt the ball in the second half and turn the ball over 3 times, which is what Watson's talking about.
Right.
That's the path. Florida has to create. And even at that, it was a last-second game. I mean, if you go back and think about that game for a second, Florida squeezed every piece out of that orange. Use the analogy for them, since what Tennessee obviously is a color orange, but Florida squeezed every bit they could out of that game, and still let that opponent go the length of the field just basically every time they touched the ball. They just didn't execute. Utah didn't. If Utah executes like Watson's talking about, they're walking out of there with a 2-touchdown win. And if you're Florida, that's what you got to count on Saturday. You got to count on the fact that so far this year, and they did it Saturday night, we've been resourceful when teams get inside our 15-yard line. That's one thing they can hang their hat on. And I don't know whether that's charmed or not, but that's the reason they're 2-1 right now. South Florida again, and South Florida is a bad football team. They're not even a decent football team. They're a bad football team. Rush for over 300 yards on them. I mean, at the end of the day, like Watson said, hey, on the air today, I said this because I'm way out over my skis in this game. And generally, look, I said back in July, I will not do that. I will not talk about this game till the chickens come home to roost. But geez, guys, now that the game's here, when you look at what Florida has and you look at what Tennessee has, Tennessee, I hate to use this term because I don't like this term because kids compete and everybody competes and they put their best foot forward, but you'd almost have to choke to lose this game. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's what Watson just said. You'd almost have to not execute in the moment if you're Tennessee to lose this game. And I hate I hate the choke term. I don't like that term.
Well, it's to me, you don't get penalties. You don't turn the ball over. You play a good game, and you don't let Richardson beat you with his legs, and you don't wear your defense out to where they're tired. If you do those things, they're not going to lose because Florida is not going to score. I don't see how in the world Tennessee is not high 20s and up. And Florida can't do that unless Tennessee gives them short fields,
right,
turns the ball over, or wears that defense out where they go 3 and out. And it's been a hot week here. It's going to be a hot week. And if it's 3 and out a bunch and the defense gets tired now, Tony, that balances everything up. That levels the playing field. So they better be smart with their pace or they'll get in trouble now.
Well, you and I both know good things better happen early.
Yes.
Because when you've lost 16-17 to somebody, Tennessee goes out there and puts 14 quick points on them, it's ball game. If that game is tied at halftime or something around that, around that mark, oh boy, your home crowd, George, it's like those Atlanta Braves before last season. When that home crowd in the postseason down there in Atlanta would start holding their breath, that would rub off on those guys playing for the Braves. The Braves overcame that last year, but there was certainly that spirit in the air of here we go, again.
again.
And I'm going to
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
something. That's a powerful thing. Your home crowd can work against you when the spirit of here we go again is in the air. I really believe that, especially in college ball. But hey, in the major leagues, all those years for the Braves down through the years, that spirit of here we go again is really powerful. And you look at that, that's what that stadium's going to look like on Saturday. Now, of course, they're going to wear those stupid, goofy looking gray uniforms inside that stadium, what I call Butch Jones gray uniforms, which are just awful, hideous, ugly, disgusting. They're reprehensible, but that's what they're going to do because that's what they want to do. And, you know, more power to you. I don't know if you guys know that I'm a little subtle here in my opinions when it comes to certain things.
Yes,
Those uniforms are hideous. It's
No.
ridiculous.
Who
But
makes
at any
that
rate,
decision?
No, I had no idea.
I don't want my crowd turning on me, Watson. I want to score 14 quick points. Hey, if I score 14 quick points and I'm Tennessee, Florida can warm those buses up because I'm going to blow them off the field.
No doubt this is your best shot in the 25 years, Tony. Enjoy the moment because I think Tennessee's going to play well. I said, and I'll stick to it, George. I said if they beat Pitt, they're going to beat Florida good. I'm going to stick to what I said on this show back 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
Tony, first of all, I love your term, the Butch Jones gray.
That's
hilarious. By the way, I drove through Jonesboro, Arkansas over the weekend. I did not wave. Who made that decision for Saturday? Why would you not proudly wear your orange and show a national TV audience, welcome to big orange country, not welcome to big gray? That's ridiculous.
Right. And if you're going to do that, let's have a gray out. Let's have everybody go to the local UPS and see if we can borrow their work uniform. I don't.
Who makes that decision?
Well, obviously that's an athletic director decision, a football coach decision. Look, I get the concept of everybody's got to sell an extra jersey. And, you know, I don't understand it. I don't get it, quite frankly. I don't see Alabama doing it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of the gold standard in that deal right now. But here's the thing. If you're going to do it, wear something that's nice looking. That gray, gray's not even a color. It's a color neutral. And it's associated with Butch Jones, who's a complete goof and a loser. Well, I'll tell you guys a quick Butch Jones.
You have got to start. You've got to stop sugarcoating.
Crazy Jerry Glanville, who used to be on with me, and Watson knows Jerry Glanville's a nut. Went over to a practice with Butch Jones, and Butch has that microphone on, you know, and he's doing all this stuff and all the histrionics, and he's doing all the Butch Jones things that people do because they can't coach. People that can't act the way Butch Jones does. Anyway, so he gets done and he walks over to Jerry Glanville and he's so proud. And he says, Coach Glanville, what'd you think of our practice? You know, and poor, you know, Butch Jones strutting around with the platforms in his shoes and the girdle he's wearing or whatever it is to make his chest stick out. And Jerry Glanville looks at him and says, Butch, he says, I got to tell you something. He said, this, what you just did, he said, it was very, very unproductive. He said, first of all, you're distracting with that microphone. Are you going out for the cheer squad or are you trying to coach? He goes, you just distracted your football team for 2 hours with that. He said, and you guys didn't get enough work done. He said, oh, and by the way, he said, all the cussing at your kids. He said, I worked in the NFL for 4 decades and I never MF'd one player, but more power to you, Butch. More power to you. I'm not going to watch and shaking his head.
Believe me, that's Jerry Glanville right there.
And Jerry never got asked back to go to another practice. They never asked him to come back. So
not an honorary captain this week.
No.
So okay. If Tennessee wins this in double digits, how long is your post game? And tell people what you do after the game. I want you to be able to plug that.
So we're over at tclub.team. I already look tired. These night games take it out of me. And, you know, here's the thing. The way I see it, that game's going to go off at 3:30 Eastern time, which means it's going to be done, I don't know, 7:30 maybe, 4 hours. Would that be about right? Okay. we go on the airwaves on my website at tclub.team, tclub.team, immediately following, or we're over on Twitter as well. We will be on conservatively now with a win, 7 hours, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Lord.
4 a.m. Last time Tennessee beat Florida, I had people bringing me food to the studio so we'd stay on. And I know you guys think that's ridiculous and silly, and that's the truth. Now, here's the thing, George. Tennessee loses this game, which I think's a layup, and Watson Brown thinks it's a layup. Now, I don't know if he's going to say that out loud. I think this thing's a layup. If they figure out a way to lose this game, I might be on till Monday at 11 a.m. when we go live.
If they lose, George, keep the knives away from Tony.
Yeah, well, I already told you guys I don't drink, okay? I will drink liquor that night on the air. I promise you I will drink liquor on the air, because how else will you get through that? I mean, it'll be the most miserable. These poor people so badly want to see their team come back. And you know what? They deserve it. You know, in an era where last week they papered the house, okay, for Akron. They papered the house. I keep it real. They papered the house. But they got like 87,000 people. Now, they announced it at 90, whatever, the 102. But they got like 87,000, something like that, to show up for the Akron game. I mean, that's borderline a kicking scrimmage. 87. Think about that in the modern era with the big screen TVs the way they are and all the good games going on. These people deserve to win Saturday. The team deserves to win. This good young coach, he's a really solid young coach, deserves to win. He treats people really well. But these fans really deserve to win. And if they don't, I'm going to be up till like Monday.
Okay. If you need about a 30-minute break at 2 a.m, call
Can
me.
I call you?
Absolutely. And then I'll call Watson.
Thank you.
We'll come in. I know Brenda will love that.
Well, that's 1:30.
Hey, Tony needs us.
Coach, will you be up 1:30? Can I count on you?
Hey, what the heck? All I can say to you, Tony, babe, save your energy in practice this week now and use it all on game day. Don't use it up all during the week here.
Boy, don't
Just calm down a little bit and save your energy.
Well, you know, the nature of this is such that I only know one way to do what I do, which is, as you can tell, like me and Josh Heupel are, you know, it's pedal to the metal. I just
your
love
shot
this.
clock doesn't get down to 3.
I think it's great to have it back, guys. I just think it's great to have it back.
Oh, it is.
You know, and you guys were talking about the Titans last night, and you kind of look at, you know, they kind of look at the game, and the game day people are going to be here, but you have windows, right? And I don't know where the Titans are in that whole window analogy. With the NFL, you certainly have windows. And in college, you have windows. If Tennessee wins Saturday, they could really be opening a window. They could go from looking like they were in ruins, literally ruins, a year and a half ago, to a window could be opening. Now, I'm not saying they're contending for anything this year. I'm not. I'm not going to do that, because you have Georgia and Alabama on the schedule, and they're better than you are. And then a trip to LSU, and that's going to be difficult. But still, you know, a window to respectability, a window to credibility, just a window. And how nice would that be for this fan base, for this team, for the program? It'd be a good thing here.
Sounds to me like it's a window.
Tony, George, we'll end it with this, I'm sure. But I really think if they win this game and win it like they should, they're in the top 10 next week.
There you go. That's a window.
It's a window to a 12-hour post game.
There's no question. Hey, that's going to happen anyway.
I know it is. I know it is. Call me at midnight. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, thank you. It's an honor.